Hello Dubs, welcome to another video, and today Morticia is gonna recommend you some books for the Dubs bingo board. So this is the bingo board for the Nevermoreathon. These are all the prompts and we're gonna walk through them one by one and recommend you some books. First up is a book with a psychic ability, just like Morticia has. And for that, I recommend Singer. This will also work for the books with a vision prompt, especially the later ones in the series, as well as the Cassidy Blake series by V.E. Swap. For a book with a light cover, I got Mad as a Hatter by Alexander Heyman. This is an Alice in Wonderland inspired murder mystery, and half of it is white, so it counts. The other one I got is Gallant by V.E. Swap. It's a mostly white cover with pretty sprayed edges. It has roses on it, so it's very Morticia Addams vibe. This is about a girl who lives in a house, but the house has a dark side, and she enters that side, and it's a bit spooky, it's a bit weird, it's a bit eerie. So if you like that vibe, this is for you. Next prompt is a wholesome book, and for that I could recommend you half of my bookcases. To me, wholesome is any fairy tale, any not really dark fairy tale, probably any middle grade. So yeah, for this I picked Starfall by Dominique Villante. This is such a cute book. It's all about friendship and finding yourself and accepting yourself. So yeah, it is great. And then a book with sisterhood. This was initially inspired by witches because Morticia is kind of sort of a good witch. But you could interpret it as however you like. So I chose A Pinch of Magic by Michelle Harrison because this is the best sister bond I've ever read. Wait a second. Sorry, I had to grab a glass of water because my throat and my voice were doing weird. So but for sisterhood, I chose A Pinch of Magic because these three sisters are the best. This is the best sister bond I've ever read about. You know, all three of them are amazing. But this is about the three sisters who live with their granny in a pub, kind of. And apparently they have magic objects in their family. This would definitely fulfill the wholesome prompt as well. It kind of has a light cover, so remember you can triple up on prompts to make your life easier if you want to go for the full bingo board. But as long as you participated with one book, you're doing it. You nailed it. Another good book with sister bond is Love, Sugar, Magic. This would also count for a wholesome book. And this is, again, about three sisters that do have magical abilities. But they live in a bakery because their magic abilities are bound a little bit by baking, especially for one sister. I do believe the other sister has a psychic ability, so you could triple up on those as well. But I highly recommend it. This is such a cozy fall bakery kind of vibe. So if that's your thing, this is a book for you. Also, what I forgot. For a sister band, also The House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland will definitely work. This is about 3 sisters, weird sisters. And this book has a creepy, eerie feel all throughout because these 3 sisters are adopted. And from the moment they're back, they're very beautiful. More beautiful than is normal. And all kind of strange things happens. And one day, one of the sisters disappears again. And the youngest sister is trying to figure everything out. So if you don't want the middle grade, this would also work really well. And this is more of a creepy, eerie feel. The next prompt is a positive prediction. This is based on the psychic ability of predicting things. But this is also very personal. So I can't really recommend you books because the whole point is that you think you will love it. So if you have a book on your shelf that you think you will love, pick it up and start reading it. That's the thing, that's the point of this. Nothing more, nothing less. And I do feel this video is slightly too dark. Second, read a well-liked book. For this, you can see it any way you like. You can choose a booktube favorite. You can choose a book that somebody in your family or your friends liked, or that a lot of your friends liked and you would like to read it, or a past buddy read that you missed out on and you still want to read because everybody seemed to love it. This is it. And because Morticia is a bit of a romantic, there is a prompt, a book with love. And I want to stretch that this book, that doesn't mean it has to be a romance. It doesn't even have to be a romantic relationship. As long as it is somebody that loves their pet, or their sibling, or their daughter, or their son, their nephew, for all I care, their friend, it will fit. It does not have to be a romance book, and it doesn't have to be a romantic love. It can be platonic love, friendship love, so don't worry about that. This Vic is annoying me. But for this, I recommend Caravel and The Night Circus. Both are very well liked YA. They're booktube darlings, so you can, again, double up on that. I think both of them are wholesome, so triple up if you want. But these books both have a love interest, a romantic relationship in it. I don't like romance, but it works for me. The one romance I recently really, really liked, which is definitely a romance book, so I feel like I have to talk about it right now, is Angelica Frankenstein Makes Her Match. And this is basically a Frankenstein retelling about sister of the Frankenstein. This does not work. Look what I got out of it. So annoying. But this book is basically about Angelica Frankenstein, the sister of Victor Frankenstein, the scientist, and she helps him create the Frankenstein monster. And only in this book, they both do it for a different reason. Victor is doing it for a scientific reason. She's doing it to find a love match, or to make a love match, to make the perfect man. And only her Frankenstein monster comes to life, and it's about, them, and do they find a relationship or not, and how does it feel when you survive that, get back to life, and have all different kind of body parts now. So I felt that really interesting, but it is a romance, so it definitely fit this prompt, so I had to choose it. And then we are at book with visions, because Morticia has visions. It's very obvious, the prompt. But I want them to kind of keep fake. I do think most of YA is based around premonitions, visions, the chosen trope. You know, that will all work for this prompt. You can stretch it however you like. But the books I've recently read that had a vision or a premonition in it are Over the Woodward Wall. Somewhere in this series, there is a premonition. And I can't really tell you because it might spoil it. But this is by the other pen name of Shannon Maguire. This is a bit of more a middle grade instead of The Wayward Children. And this is about two kids that never spoken to each other, are totally opposites, but end up in this fantastical land, and they need to do all kinds of quests, and one of them loves it, one of them hates it. And they meet all kind of creatures, scary ones, friendly ones, all sorts. And it was really cute. I really liked it, and I liked the world building, and every book in the series got better, so that's always a plus. Oh, and A Shiver of Snow and Sky also had a vision in it. And this is a polar fantasy, and it's about these people that build a new life on this island because their old life got destroyed by an army, and that army is threatened to find them here and ruin their life again, and all of their villages and stuff. And that's where also the premonition is about, or the vision. For mother and daughter band, this was harder than I expected. I felt like I read a lot of books about mothers and daughters, and you know, the bond between Morticia and Wednesday is really a big deal in the series. So I put a prompt in because I thought I've read loads, but when I was picking a book for this, I could for the life of me not think of one, except for Pages and Co. By Anna James. This is now a 5 or 6 book series. I've read them all, they're all amazing. This definitely will fulfill a wholesome book. But also, the bond between mother and daughter in this book is very important and kind of central after a while. So I can't really tell you why, because it will spoil the book. But this is about Tilly, and Tilly lives with her grandparents in a bookstore, and Tilly is a book wanderer, which means she can visit in books and live that story and talk to the characters, and her favorite characters can come out of the books and visit her in a bookshop, and it's so awesome. It's an ode to book lovers. It's absolutely amazing. So there you go. For a book with ancestors, I chose The Legend of Skeleton Man by Joseph Brusac. This is about a Mohawk reserve folktale, and ancestors do play a role in this, so I recommend. This is also a bit more eerie, scary one, but it is on the higher point of middle grade. I'm debating if it's middle grade or YA. I don't know what it's categorized at in the stores, actually. But this is about Molly, and her father grew up in a Mohawk reserve, and he tells her this story about the skeleton man all the time. And when her parents get missing, she picked up by a guy that pretends to be her uncle that she never met, but he kind of remembers her of the stories of Skeleton Man. I really, really love this book. Next up is read a book with candlelight, because I feel that's Morticia the vibe. You don't really need to read a particular book for this, just combine it with another prompt. It doesn't have to be all in candlelight. It's just, you can put on full light, but if you light a candle and you read, you got this. Another prompt is favorite author, which is again a very personal prompt, so I can't really recommend you books for it. You know, if one of your favorite authors has a book you haven't read yet, this is the time to pick it up. It doesn't have to be your all-time favorite. It can be one of your favorites. If all your favorite authors doesn't have a book you haven't read yet, pick an author you really like, you like something from, you want to try more of, that will all count. Next prompt is arc, because that's kind of looking in the future, because you get a book that is not yet out. So you get a book for the future, and I love that. If you don't have arcs, don't worry. Just pick a new release or the newest you bought, something very, very new, because it's a nod to looking in the future. Again, Morticia's ability. We try to make these boards as fitting to the characters in the show as possible. I don't know what arcs you have on your shelf, so I can't really recommend it. Any of it to you. The arc I will prioritize is The Legacy of Villains, because it looks really good. It's Peter Pan retelling, and I will be doing a Peter Pan vlog for it. For a book in the future, which was harder because I don't really remember dates in books. But I chose City of Rust. I'm not sure if this is set in the future, to be honest, because I couldn't find a date. But this is set in a world where there is so much waste, we couldn't live on Earth anymore and had to move. And that feels like something in the future. So yes, you can stretch it that much. And on these new planet, it does say Earth still. She has a bio-robotic gecko, and it's called Atty, and she does all those drone races with it, but Atty is actually, steering the drone, which is not allowed. But there is a whole kind of war going on, and this is a lot about waste and how to take care of the earth. So I really liked it for that. This feels like the future kind of vibe. Some of the wild build would also work. This is on Earth, which again, I forgot the time. But it's in a world on Earth where there was a robot. It's not a takeover, but they stopped working because they get a conscience, and they got away from the humans and starting their own life. And one day one of the robots is coming back and reflecting on how it is going with the humans now. There are all the robots left. So that kind of feels like in the future as well. And I really enjoyed the book, so I recommend it. You can stretch it that far, it's fine. And then the prompt is a gentle book. Because I think Morticia's very gentle, but also Barbara, the team captain for the Doves, is a very gentle person. So I felt like this prompt was perfect. And you can interpret this any way you want. If you want a book that makes you feel loved, or if you want to see it as a book that is really slow and takes you by the hand and explains everything, that's all fine. I chose Rainbow Grey for this because it does both. It explains very well, because this is on the lower side of middle grade, so it explains everything, nothing is rushed. There are a lot of drawings to it to get you really into the story, and this is also kind of a warm hug, so it's a gentle book. Rainbow Grey needs to learn to be gentle to herself, so I think it will work. And the last prompt is adult main character. And for that, I chose one of my favorite books of last year, Nettlebaum by T.K. Kingfisher. This is about a 30-something girl, a woman. And it's kind of a dark fairy tale-esque book with a fairy godmother, it's a possessed chicken and a bone dog, and they go on this adventure, and they, you know, might have to kill the prince. And it's also a book about two sisters. I really enjoyed this book. To me, it's a wholesome book, but it also has cannibalism in it and a demonic chicken, so might not be wholesome for everyone. But it's fairy tale-esque, you know, it's cute, but also on the dark side. Just so you know. And these were all my recommendations for Team Dove. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have more recommendations for the doves, put them all down below. You know, we all collect them together as one big recommendations to help your teammates out. All the information to the Nevermore-athon is linked down below, as well as the sign up form where you can declare you're in and which team you are. The bingo board is linked down below. The Discord is linked down below, so you can join your doves on Discord and chat with them. Recommend in that way. The captains will be there. And speaking about captains, they will probably make a recommendation video about their board as well. So if my recommendations didn't help, Barbara's might. As soon as I get that link, I'll link her down below as well. I put every video about the Nevermoreathon in the playlist, so you can all find them very easy. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye, dolls!